Hey guys, this is Chris Fayte with Cheat the Game coming back at you today. We're going to be taking a look at Metro Exodus, and we're going to go through and find infinite ammo. It's a little bit tricky in this game, as you're going to find out. We're also going to look for keeping the weapon from jamming, as well as rapid fire, and maybe a couple others if I got time to. I doubt I will, but I'm going to show you how to go through the structure and to maybe find these things where we have no recoil, no spread, things like that. And I want to give a shout out to two awesome people, Longmore and Lowbit, two of my best people at the CTG forums and everything, that we all collaborate together. And Lowbit and Sean, you know, they go through these things. They do all the hard work of finding these things. And I'm going to kind of give you an idea of what they do to find these particular values. These things are not easy. It's kind of like treasure hunting. And we're going to go through and show you what they do as well. Also, if you come over to our Facebook group, Lowbit has posted up a vid in our Facebook group in regards to finding the values, how he found values and stuff like that, and the process he goes through to find these values. And you pick up a lot of good tips in that video. So I'm going to try to also get him to upload that to YouTube if he hadn't already, and I will link his YouTube account down there in the description. He's got some great stuff on there, and he is a pro game hacker as well. Sean Longmore is too. I don't know if he has a YouTube yet, but I will find out, and I'll post that as well. But you guys stay tuned, and I'll be right back with you. I'm just going to go ahead and load everything up. Alrighty, first of all, if you want to get this game, Metro Exodus, into a window, now I have not figured out how to do a border window, but I can show you how to put it in a borderless window, because it will not allow you to do it from the menu options. So what you need to do is go to your folder, go to your local C drive. You want to come down here to users, and then click on your name, or whatever you named that, out of users, and then you're going to come down here to save games, go to Metro Exodus and under save games, in this file right here, click on it, and you're going to see a user config file. Bring this up in Notepad or Notepad++. I recommend plus. And then what you want to do, I've already done it, but what you want to do is just click on find and just put in full screen and find next. It'll take you to it, and in yours it will say on. Just change it to off and then resave it, then bring your game up, and you can start with a borderless window. That way you can get between Cheat Engine and the game easier. So that's just a little tip there. Alright, so let's go ahead and attach Cheat Engine to the game. Now those, I accidentally live streamed a few days ago, and I didn't mean to. It was an accident. I was just trying to learn how to do it, and I thought the OBS software had messed up on me, and but it actually went live, and I didn't realize it. So until I started getting messages, so I just decided to stay on. So those that joined the live stream, some of this is not going to be anything new to you, because I'm doing the same thing I did in the live stream. However, we are going to be trying to find rapid fire, maybe a couple of more things like I don't know, maybe no spread or no recoil or something like that. So let's just get back to the game where I previously left off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and erase all this right here, and we're just going to find it from scratch. Let's give it a moment to load.
My friends, people from my station. Nobody.
Sorry, I forgot to turn the volume down. Alright, so now that the volume's turned down, now we can hear better what we need to do.
Immediately drowned out by the static.
Alright, so right off the bat, you'll see your ammo. If you press tab, you'll see your ammo and other values of that nature. And if you take a look, we have 20 in the chamber as of right now. And it's a very elusive value, especially if you do an exact value search. It's going to be on a 2 byte, and it's actually, your internal value is actually going to be one less than the actual display value. So keep that in mind. It goes back to that saying that I've been trying to tell everybody, that internal values don't necessarily have to reflect the display values, and you find that a lot, especially like with XP. When you're trying to find XP, they'll stay, the internal and display will stay in sync all the way up to you go up a level, but a lot of games the display will recycle back to 0, and then you got to go up to a new cap to reach a new level. However, the internal just continues counting up. It does not recycle to 0, and that's where a lot of people get messed up in trying to find XP a lot in some of these games. That's games like Dragon Age Inquisition. It does that. I believe Darksiders does that too. So keep that in mind when you're searching for values, that the internal doesn't necessarily have to reflect what the display is doing. Sometimes you'll see a bar that's going up, however the internal will be counting down from a certain value. So you always want to try all types of search methods before you give up on it. It's there somewhere. So alright, so we take a look here, and we're just going to fire it one time, and we're just going to go decrease value, and we're just going to keep doing it with decrease, and we should get to it rather quickly, I hope. We're at 17, so it should be at 16. So let's just see if we can find 16. And we got several, so I'm going to bring this down here so I can look at it, because I can't move the screen up there. So we got values that are changing, so we don't need those values. So we're on left with 2, so let's check those out. So those, let me get rid of this. This keeps popping up in my way. Alright. So we got 2 values that continue to count down. So one is a display, I guess, or one some type of internal check, but one is the actual internal controlling everything else. That's the one we need to find. So I'm going to set one up high and keep one as is, just to be on the safe side, and take a look. Still stayed at 16, and it's still going down. Okay. So I'm going to set the top one now. Let me just make sure. Yeah, it's the top one, I believe, is the correct one. So let me set that one to 20. And the cap for our weapon that we have right now is actually 21. So let's take a look. And take a look. And that's how you know you found the correct internal value. So, and in this game it's a little weird. It just happens to be one less than what the display is showing. So that's how you find it. It will be on a 2 byte. So let's get directly to it. We're going to find out what accesses the address. Making sure I hit record. Good. Let's get back to the game, and we just want to bring everything up in memory when we shoot the weapon. And I also like to bring up when we reload as well, but I don't think anything else comes up when we reload. So let me waste the ammo and now reload. Just to be on the safe side. We want to bring everything up we possibly can that pertains to that weapon. And it's just those 2 opcodes. That's fine. And we see one that was constantly monitoring it. I just turned it off, but it was constantly monitoring it right here. So it's being read. And then right here, this is only being accessed when we actually shoot off around there. So let's go to this one. That's usually where you're going to find the subtraction occurring. And we can see right here, it's actually doing a compare EAX with R14. And then R14 is moving the new value in there if it happens to be low. That C move B, that is a conditional move. Like we have conditional jumps, you can also use move and other commands like that as a condition as well. Only move a new value in there, and in this instance, only move a value in there if the compare was below the number. So if R14 is below what is in EAX, move the new value in there. In other words, it's going to go all the way to 0, but once it gets to 0, it won't go into the negatives. It'll just be out of ammo. So that's what that C move B means. From that compare right here, if the compare value is below that number, go ahead and move the new number into EAX. EAX is writing that new value. So actually we can just knock this out or just put in a value we want right here. You might have to experiment with that. I don't know if there was a reload issue or not. I believe Sean was telling me, but yeah, you just have to play around and just adjust it from there. You may have to backtrace a little bit. I don't know. But for right now, we're just going to label this ammo 1. And right off the bat, I want to do an injection copy. And the reason, especially with ammo and player base, I always want to do an injection copy because I want to go play around in the structure with the values that are around this value, because that's where you're going to find everything else, such as rapid fire, no recoil, things of that nature. And it's a trial and error process. I mean, there's no method to it other than that. And I'm just, for right now, I'm just going to knock that out. But what I want to do is I want to go ahead and make a label. I'm just going to name this ammo base, and we're going to register a symbol for it. Also call it ammo base. That way we can use it outside of the script, because we're going to need to, so we can put that on the cheat table. And right here we'll just unregister it when we turn it off. Then underneath the jump return, just somewhere out of the way, I'm just going to put ammo base. DQ 0, DQ, because this is a 64-bit game. It is dealing with a 64-bit register, so we need more room. So that's why we do that. And right above it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move into that ammo base. Now, just the name, that's just a symbol. You can name it whatever you want to, but that name is going to be associated with an address that will be assigned in new mem somewhere in the allocated memory that we allocated up here. So that we're basically, what we're saying is that at that address where ammo base is, I want you to move in our whatever you're holding in RSI, which will be our base address of our ammo. And this is the offset of where our ammo value is going to be. But you'll notice that all other attributes, such as rapid fire and things of that nature, will also be stemmed from that base address, that same base address. They're all in the same structure. It's just a trial and error process. It could take you minutes, it could take you hours, sometimes days, to go through and find things that you want. So, you know, if you're willing to put the work into it, you can find some awesome things. I'm gonna spare you that trial and error process and go straight to the values, and that's thanks to Lowbit, and also thanks to Sean and their hard work that they've already done, and gave me permission to show you. But just keep that in mind, that this, you know, these things are not found easily at all. So we're just going to put in here ammo test. And this is for infinite ammo. And right now I'm going to put in that ammo base in brackets. That means we want the value at the ammo base address plus that 1780, I believe it was. I have to go back and look. Ammo address. And this will pop up our ammunition address that we just, 1780. We want to make sure we get the offset right, and when we turn it on and go back in the game, it will find our ammo address, which will be this right here. Let's go ahead and put that on 2 bytes. I'm going to minimize that just for the time being. We're done with this for the moment. So let's go back in there and let's turn it on first. There we go. And as soon as we shot around, when I went back in the game, take a look, it found that address stemmed off the base address. So that's always a good thing. And if we take a look now, our ammo's not going down. But you can see that, you know, when I fire off a round, the gun starts shooting up, and we got all kinds of recoil in there. But now we got another problem right quick. Now the gun is jammed, so we're not getting, even though we have infinite ammo, we're still not able to shoot like we want to. So there's something jamming the gun when we shoot. So let's see if we can get that unjammed. Oops, I'm mashing the wrong button. There we go. Unjammed, and it shoots again. I'm going to shoot some more. And if I do it for a longer period of time, it's going to jam again. So that's the problem. So that's something first that we might want to take care of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look around the structure where this ammo is. We're going to browse this memory region. That'll show us in the memory dump. And here's another good question that I was asked by Exploit Dev over at the Discord channel. And he was seeing some instructions that were truly confusing. And I think what had happened was he clicked on one of the addresses when he was searching for addresses. And instead of mashing browse this memory region, which brings up this in memory dump, which are just addresses and the values that those addresses are holding. And when we put it on like 4 byte decimal, you can see here it shows the address and the value and all the values that are next to it, and they're, you know, with their offsets and everything. But I think he accidentally instead clicked on disassemble this memory region, and what that does, it brings it up here. When you right click on this, if you browse this memory region, that's just saying I'm wanting to look at all the values around this address. That means this is an address holding a value. That's it, like our ammo value. And I want to see that in memory. I want to see all the values around it. So when you click on that, Cheat Engine says, okay, he's looking at an address that's holding a value, and I'm going to show him all the values that are around that value and with that value. No problem. But when you come up here and say disassemble this memory region like that, you're telling Cheat Engine then that no, this address is an instruction, an opcode instruction. I want to see all the instructions with it. Well, Cheat Engine doesn't know any better. It's going to do what you tell it to do. So it defines these bytes, or it writes these bytes and tries to interpret them as part of instructions, and they're not instructions. And this is, you get just a bunch of mishmash up here. That's not anything that it's really doing. It's just the address and the value and all these other values. So if you had to see just all this kind of just messed up and don't make any sense, that's probably what you did by accident. Okay, probably went to a location with an address just holding a value, and you told Cheat Engine that it was an instruction, and it's not. So keep that in mind too, so when you get to confusing ASM code. Alright, so what we want to do is, let me go back and browse this memory region, and I'm just going to enhance this a little bit. And I'm keeping it on 4 byte for the moment. The reason being is that I'm looking for a flag. I always look for flags first. That'd be the first thing I always look for. A flag is a Boolean value. It can be it can be 2, 3, sometimes even more than 3. You know, cycling between different numbers. But usually it's just an on-off switch. You know, one number means on, one number means off. In this case, you know, when the gun is jammed, a flag is being switched on to say that, okay, it's jammed right now. I'm not going to allow him to fire that gun again until he clears that jam. So if we can find that flag that's telling the system that and keep it off all the time, then theoretically the gun should never jam, and that's what we're looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm looking for my zeros right now and ones. And if you take a look in this region right here, we got a bunch of zeros and one, and you know, just 1 1 right now. And what I'm going to do is unclear the jam. I'm going to see what got affected when I unclear the jam. Then I'm going to start firing off the round till it jams again and see what's been affected after that. Okay? So let's go ahead and fire the round and let it jam again. Just take a look at those zeros. Alright. Now let's take a look at what affects what when we clear the jam. What goes back to 0 or 1 or something. Okay, right over here. I saw that one. Right here. That's a value of interest. I didn't see any others change, but let's just take a look and see what's going on. When I clear the jam, we're going to clear the jam. Does that value change? Okay, it didn't. So we're going to have to keep looking. Okay, I didn't clear the jam. I mashed the wrong button. Let's clear the jam again. I'm sorry. I keep mashing the wrong button. Okay, that didn't do anything. So we need to take a look at other zeros. So I'm still looking around to see what's going on. And right when it jams, I want to see a difference. Boom. If you look right here, that one was an indicator. All these others were going while I was firing. However, I was looking at these that were not moving at all while I was firing. Only when something changed, when it jammed, would a flag be set. That's what I was looking for. And I saw that. So let's keep our eye on that one. I'll keep it highlighted. I hope you can see it. So let's clear the jam. Okay, it went to 2, then 0. Which I believe 2 means jam is being cleared. 0 means jam is cleared. We're able to fire again, I believe. Well, let's just see. See if it turns back to 1 when it jams. And it does. Let's see if it turns back to 0 when it's unjammed. Yep. One again. So that looks like that is a value of interest we want to look into farther. So I'm going to bring this over to my cheat table, add to the address list. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set that to 0. And let's go back in the game and take a look. I didn't even clear the jam. It's still doing it, and I'm still not clearing the jam. It's just automatically doing it when I re-click the fire the round button. So I'm not actually manually clearing the jam anymore. It's manually clearing it for me. So that does have an effect. So let's take a look in memory what's going on with this address. That is definitely affecting our jam. Any kind of difference whatsoever is good. And you can see it's just right into all kind of areas in memory right here. So the game's going to slow down a lot until it jams again. So it did jam again. Let's go ahead and bring this up and stop. And we just want to take a look at what's going on with it. And remember, it writes 1 when it jams up. Okay, so that's what we're really looking for right here. And I believe the last location it's writing to, you can see all throughout here, just in different areas, that is comparing 1. And these could, you could possibly use any of these locations. But I like using the latter end right now because I know that's usually your final compare, and these are what popped up when it jammed. So I'm looking at this value, or this address right here. The reason being because I know this is the writing opcode. What is on the left affects whatever's on the right. We know that our base, our ammunition, was 1780, and we know we found that flag ahead of our ammo address. Here's our ammo right here, and we found that flag that was higher than. So that's a good place. We know that that is definitely the value we're looking at. We see here it's comparing to see if it has been cleared, and it's comparing this after it's been cleared. Has it hit 1 yet? So and it's doing that throughout the system. You can kind of piece together what's going on if you just look at it for a little bit. So what would happen if I constantly wrote 0 into this value and never let it turn to 1? Because you can take a look, all these are comparing. So that's not actually writing the value, it's just comparing the value. But here it's actually writing it. Okay, so you want to pay attention. Here it's writing, here it's writing. So we may have to hit all 3 of them, I don't know. But let's just do one at a time and see if that takes care of the problem. If not, then we'll do the next one. If not, we'll do the next one. And that's basically what you do. So now we go back into memory view up here and go to that opcode. And we see all kind of things going on with it, and it looks like all this is being affected together. And it would be in your best interest to go check what these values are as well, considering that all that is in reference to the gun being jammed, I believe, because EAX is writing 0 right here, looks like. And I don't believe that's the location, because that's always writing 0. It looks like that's only writing the 0 when we've cleared the jam. So having that write 0 over and over again isn't really doing anything more to it, because it's already always writing 0. So that's not the place we need to be. If you take a look at XOR EAX, anytime you XOR a value with itself, it always equals 0. So RAX and EAX, which is the same registry, that's what he's doing. It's zeroing these addresses out, or zeroing the values at these addresses out. So this isn't the place we need to be. So we can see right off the bat, just by knowing a little ASM, this isn't the place. So we need to go up to the next writing opcode, which is here. Let's go take a look at it. Now we got something that's being tested, and it's set, if not equal, in the lower part of EAX. So we can possibly test this location, because it's only putting a value in there if it meets a condition. So let's take a look at that, and what we're going to do is we're just going to do a test script and just have it always write 0 also. Alright, so let's just quickly do an AOB injection, and we're going to call this weapon jam 1. So we see that before it gets to our location that it's already set the value of EAX. So I'm going to override whatever it's done here, and I'm just going to do this XOR EAX EAX, which just makes it 0 again. Always writing 0. Okay, EAX, this is just the lower end of EAX, and we're just going to have it write 0. So let's do that. So assign to the current cheat table, and we're going to put weapon jam test. Now we know that it is jammed right now, so it will not fire. So we would probably have to clear the jam out before it will allow us to fire, but hopefully, and we'll just keep watching that value to see if it changes again after. So let's clear the jam. Let's see what happens. And as you can see, it is not jamming anymore. And we can sit here and hold this all day long, it will not jam. But if I turn it off, you saw how long I held it for, and you see how long it doesn't take it to jam. Now I'm going to do the same thing and time it. Boom, jammed right away. So we know that as soon as you clear the jam, it will never jam again with this. Okay? So we got another good script. So if we turn this on, we can actually combine it with our infinite ammo, and it will just be infinite ammo and never jams. Or you can keep them separate. Why you wouldn't want one without the other, I don't know, but hey, some people like playing differently. So alright, let me go ahead and save what I got, and we'll go ahead and see if we can find rapid fire, okay? I tell you what, time just flies by when I do these things. We're already 30 minutes into, so I'm going to cut it. But I'm going to keep my promise to you. We're going to find the rapid fire just quickly, though. But I want to show you. What I do is I go back to my ammo address and everything, and I want to look around the base structure. Sometimes I'll just go directly to the base address itself and then just go down the values from there. But I do like looking around the ammo value itself first and just values around there. So let's go ahead and let me see something here. We want to change our values to float, because most of your values, such as rapid fire, things like that, are going to be on a float value. Okay, sorry about that. I put it back on 4-byte. Here's our ammo value, and that's what these guys do. When they go to try to find rapid fire, no spread, no recoil, and all that stuff, first thing you want to do is come down here to memory dump area on browse memory view, and go ahead and put it on float. And you want to come in here and just play with all these values. What I recommend doing is add them to your address list and go in there and manually change them, freeze them, see if that makes any kind of difference at all. And if that doesn't do anything, then go in there and modify the opcodes. What I'll do is I'll when I may be on this one or something, I will go ahead and see what's accessing it like that. and just fire off around like that and just see what's actually writing to it. And right off the bat, everything that's writing to it, I'll just go ahead and hit replace. Replace everything that's writing to it. Go back in there with the address that's on my list, and I'll change the value to either like a 0 or to a really high number or to a negative value. See if that makes any difference now that it's not being written to you. And sometimes you got to do that. You got to put that kind of work into it, okay? And I'm going to show you something. And this is thanks to Lowbit and also to Sean. Those guys are really awesome game hackers. And I just want to show you how far up rapid fire is. And it'll take me a second. And they do. They go play with every single one of these values. And that's why it takes so much time and everything. Right here. If you take a look right here, when you finally get to this value, and I'm sure it took them a couple of days, to play with all these values, to locate these things. But they get to right here, and actually both of these, I believe you're going to need to modify to get a successful rapid fire. So I'm going to add both of these to the list. Usually I like values that represent each other, like current and cap are together. Well, it's the same difference here. So, and what we have to do is that it's constantly being written to, which this will be current, and this is like a cap for it, not to go beyond this. But what I want to do is just look up one of them, and I can see everything that's writing to it. We see 3 locations that are writing to it. But we, like I say, we just try one at a time and see if that makes a difference. But if you look, I don't know if it will make any type of difference, but how you know, sometimes you look for any type of difference whatsoever. When you put these to 0, when you're looking for rapid fire, a lot of times it'll either shoot very fast or won't shoot at all. If you take a look, the game crashed. But I'll bring it back up and show you. And that's another thing you got to put up with, the game crashing on you, and that will do it too. A lot of times you won't realize you have the value, and you do. And so yeah, it just takes a lot of effort. So my hats go out to those that make these trainers and everything, that find all these things, to Lowbit, to Sean. Man, you guys put in that kind of work. It takes a lot of work. It really does. It really takes a lot of work. So let's get back to the game, and we're going to go directly to it, and we're just going to go ahead and get rapid fire directly. So let's go back to this, and let's go ahead and turn on, or let's attach Cheat Engine to the game and turn on our code. Find our new weapon or new ammo address. Fire it off around. There it is. And it's a completely different address now. It's a browse memory region, which brings us to here. It's already on float, and we need to go all the way up here somewhere, and I'm looking for the 0.9s because that would be it. And like I say, that's all due to their hard work. Here they are side by side together. So this is the one I need, so add that to the address list. Alright, and we've already done all that, so I think I saved that information. And these are static, which is a good thing. And we can see here where it's adding to XMM1. It looks like XMM1 is writing it to here because those addresses are just like 8 bytes apart, which that makes sense. So let's take a look, see what's going on with it. Yeah, it's actually writing it right here. This is where it's actually increasing. So this would be a good place, but we may need to modify that cap that's beside it also, but we'll just have to look at it and see. So what I want to do is I want to affect what it is adding. Instead of having it add, I'm just going to have it move a value in there, and I'm just going to put now let's do this fire rate. And you want to try values around fire rate too, and just everything around each other, and just experiment. And that's what it is, trial and error. You may hit some duds and crash your game, but you'll hit some good ones too that really do something. You'll find stuff you didn't even realize you were looking for. So what I want to do, just to save us some time, is I'm going to put this to a 0.01. And instead of adding, it's just going to move a 0.01 into there and just move that into XMM1. XMM1 is going to write it to that address, and let's just see what happens. Assign that to the current cheat table. And we turn that on. But this value here we may need to modify also. Okay, that completely stopped us from being able to fire. So let's do that. Let's go back to it, and what I want to do is modify the one beside it also, which I believe is at B4. Was that it? Well, we're about to find out, right? Oh, take a look. And I forgot to turn on my weapon jam. That's why I like putting those things together, so I ain't got to go back and do that later. So normally I'm going to go back and combine these two scripts. That way it never jams when I'm firing. So let's mash the wrong button again. Now we can unjam the weapon. And if you take a look, we got rapid fire. Why didn't that turn on? Oh, there it goes. Okay. Alright, clear the jam again. Hopefully it won't jam this time. Now take a look. And without rapid fire, you can definitely see the difference. So you just got to go in there and experiment. So I think 001 is too low. I think it'll just recognize it as a 0. But you can see how fast it's shooting. So we're trying to get, I try to get it as close to 0 as I can, but you can see the difference. That's definitely our rapid fire. Then if you get a no spread and no recoil, you'll get a clean shoot. So I do hope that helps you. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and thank my partners. These guys keep Cheat the Game going. You know, their kind donations every month. I really do appreciate that. And if it wasn't for these guys, Cheat the Game would have been done a long time ago. But I appreciate all of you coming out to support Cheat the Game. You do so by watching the vids, placing a like on it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. We got some more coming out for you in the future. Also, head over to these guys' channels I got listed down below, and also Stephen Chapman's channel. He's got some great stuff he's recently come out with as well. If you're a beginner, he's got some great stuff for beginners, intermediate, all the way to advanced. Go check him out, and newer stuff coming out here pretty soon. And so go support these guys as well. But I want to thank you all for coming to support me, and I really appreciate it. But I will catch you guys on the next one, and I will see you then. Alright, so you guys take care. Keep on hacking. Most importantly, please enjoy yourself. That's really what it's all about. You cheat the game, fellas, because believe me, it doesn't mind cheating you. You all take care now.